So I went and saw my Parkinson's nurse on Friday, and we talked about some of the symptoms that have come up. And so I'm going to share some of those symptoms with you so that maybe it'll help you to feel that, things that are happening to you are normal in terms of Parkinson's. So one of the things was a cramp in my right thumb. So what happens is the thumb goes over to this finger here and it won't release. And you get this like excruciating pain that goes in through here. You might feel it like a writer's cramp even. Eventually, if you put, what I did was I would sometimes put either a cold cloth or like cold cloth or a ice pack, or run it under hot water. Either one's, it depends. Sometimes one works better than the other. And eventually what you can do is you can start to pry the thumb away from the hand. It's scary and it comes out of nowhere. Like prolonged use of the hand can cause that. Now, there would probably, there's maybe people with arthritis or rheumatoid arthritis or that, maybe that would struggle with the same sort of issue. Again, it's a relationship, a communication between, the brain and the body, and where we normally, kind of sit like this with our hands kind of like that. We don't, tend to ball up our hands unless we're doing some sort of exercises or something. So it is a communication, from the brain to the body part or the muscles, in that they're not functioning as normal. It's the same thing with the feet. I have found that now while going for a walk, I can't talk a lot because I'm trying to focus on the words left, right, so that my feet don't become confused and start to wander, or one would maybe start to work its way into the other foot. Again, that is a communication thing. And yes, we talked about that in length. And my cognitive issues are due to the lack of dopamine in my brain. And so what happens is when we take dopamine, right? We take a tablet. Ideally, if you could take it on an empty stomach, doesn't always work depending on how many tablets you have to take in a day. You kind of have to work it around meal times. It is a challenge. But it goes into the stomach where it tries to, get absorbed. It then moves down into the bowel, back up through the nervous system and into the brain. Why it takes this route, I don't know. There's probably scientific reasons for it, which I'm not interested in. All I want is get it absorbed, get it to the right places, get to my brain so that you've got some relief, right? You've got some extra dopamine helping you to cope with your symptoms. So we talked about that. We talked about the gait in my left foot, which she says, is Parkinson's symptoms, because your brain, normal people know when they get up off a chair, they have to move left and right and left and right with their foot. We get up from a chair and it's like, okay, now I have to move. We are consciously thinking about what the next step's going to be because it doesn't come naturally to us. So we talked about that. we talked about speech issues. So it tends to be when I'm really fatigued or have brain overload. So I'm actually starting to get that cramp in this hand. Okay. So sorry, now I've lost my train of thought. Um, Yet that's what happens when you go off the beaten track. Um, you have to bring yourself back to where you were in terms of what you were talking about. So the speech thing, yeah. So when the brain isn't able to communicate what you want to say as quickly as I have been doing now so far, you kind of will stop in mid-sentence. Maybe your speech may slow down. You might be looking for a word, like you know on a conscious level, you know that you want to say something, that you want to express, say an opinion or an idea, but it's not coming. Or there's could be stuttering in trying to come up with the right word. So then what you kind of have to do is just stop and go, right, okay. If it's not that important, it's okay if I don't remember it. If it was that important, well, hopefully it's going to come back to me, right? So these are common things that happen to people that have Parkinson's. They're not nice. I'm not, yeah, that's what I wanted to mention. Somebody posted on Facebook about a book by this guy, and now I can't remember his name, but the title of it is something like When You Don't Give an F About Anything, or something to that effect. I can't remember. I've actually got it on Kindle Unlimited. So I don't even have to pay for it, which is super. But anyway, he talks about that why does every day have to be filled with, sparkles and stars and, positivity? I mean, yeah, generally every person tries to have a positive outlook when they get up in the morning, get on with their day, want to have a good day, want it to be filled with magic and light and love and all those things, right? But what he says is that it's okay if it doesn't. It's okay if you have to say to somebody when they ask you how you are, and you probably, Parky people get that all the time, because I think people ask you how you are. I do think they're genuine, but then some people feel like, oh, well, I better, should ask how she is because she's got Parkinson's, right? That's fine. But the point is, when you want to tell somebody how you're actually feeling, it would be nice if they listened, if they took in what you're saying and not come up with, oh yeah, that happens to me. Oh yeah, I know, my sister has Parkinson's, that blah, 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 right? So sometimes I don't even bother, and I just say, oh, taking the day as it comes. So back to the book. So yeah, I mean, he talks about that it's okay if things aren't always positive. It's okay if you're having a little bit of a down day. And it's okay to be honest with people. It's okay to say, something, I got up this morning and I am absolutely exhausted. And I've got some of my Parky symptoms today. And I'm dealing with them. Sure, we'd all love a lot of positive vibes. Most of the time I am positive. And then there's days when I have meltdowns. And that was yesterday. Because I suppose when you're talking to your Parkinson's nurse, you're talking about a lot of things, about tweaking meds, about how you want to proceed. How would you like to move forward? What do you think you need? They're very good about including you in your care plan, which I love, because they ask your opinion. They don't just say, well, I think this and this and this is what is needed. They include you. And it's nice to be included for as long as I can be included, because there might be someday where I really can't make that decision. And that'll have to come from my husband and my neuro team, right? So the other thing I wanted to mention was dry throat. No, the other thing I wanted to mention was, yes, that I am on the list to see the Parkinson's physio team. There's a little bit of a wait, and that's okay. Just the fact that I know that they will be looking after me, help me with my gait, my left foot, help me with the cramping in the hands, the speech, which today I'm having a good day so far, so I'm really pleased. But that's pretty much how it went. So fingers crossed, the meds will get tweaked again. I have to wait for the neurologist to decide what he thinks would be best. That would be presented to me by my Parky nurse, and then we'll go from there and see if all is agreeable. So have a good day, everybody.